Friday Night Lights means it's time for the final score. Your home for hard hits, big plays, and the Basin's #1 football show. The final score, brought to you by these sponsors.
And welcome into the final score. Ben Peck with Aaron Reynolds. Week 3 under the Friday Night Lights. And Aaron, I'd be down for a 33-week season. I could use all the sports we could get. That might be a little difficult for the players.
Yeah.
I can't get enough.
Now, I do know those players and coaches are all very happy to be out there as well. This past week was actually very exciting for our UIL 6A and TAPS teams. They're able to practice for the first time this fall.
Yes.
They'll start their games in 2 weeks.
I'm really excited to see what they look like once they get out there. Until then, though, those home venues are a little vacant, but there is at least one notable exception I can think of in Midland. Grande Communication Stadium taking center stage for our Game of the Week.
Oh, yeah. Got the Andrews Mustangs 2-0 on the season, visiting Greenwood. Well, kind of visiting them.
Sort of.
Visiting them in Midland, at least, meeting them. Greenwood losing their first regular season defeat since September 14th, 2018.
My
Ben,
goodness.
that's 18 games.
That's almost 2 years without a loss in the regular season. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So like we mentioned earlier, this game out at Grande Communication Stadium gives some more room for the fans. First drive, Andrews, EJ Lopez nowhere to go with it, and he is sacked by that Greenwood defense. Chase Carroll with the recovery for Greenwood. Then you know what's next. Trey Cross bounces one, and no one is going to catch him. See you later. That's a Rangers touchdown and the first score of the game. Greenwood 7-0 early in the first quarter. The very first play for Andrews after that is a pick 6. Chase Carroll taking it to the crib by Riley Butts, 14-0 Rangers with the lead early, coming off that win. Little fuel to their fire. Woo. The Andrews holding on still. Huge 4th and 15 conversion for a touchdown from Lopez to Brock Tiarina, 14-7 Andrews. So Mustangs hanging on after a few early blips. Greenwood getting the ball back. Cross again up the middle. Woo. And he scores.
Looking like they're going to run away.
I'm going to celebrate with his brother. You love to see it. Scoring is something he's been doing for a while now, as we all know.
I would say so.
But again, Andrews hanging around. EJ Lopez chucks one down the middle to John Breeden. That's going to be another Andrews score. So pretty close here at the start of this game. But the Rangers managed to edge out Andrews 36-29. Greenwood gets back into the win column. Our own Game of the Week reporter Jake Eichstead caught up with Coach Purser following his big win.
Ben, Aaron, welcome to Grande Communication Stadium. Just wrapped up an incredibly exciting game. Greenwood edging out Andrews late. Now, I got Coach Rusty Purser here. Coach, I want to talk about the offense, or excuse me, I want to talk about the defense first. I know Andrews has a very explosive offense. You guys did a very good job holding them, forced a lot of turnovers. Where'd that come from?
You know, it had to do with defensive speed, without a doubt. You know, not only with our linebackers, but our front four to be able to go force the quarterback into some uncomfortable situations, force some bad throws. You know, I mean, they're similar to us on their offensive side. They're a young football team. You know, they got a young quarterback who really is talented, and they've got some receivers that can make plays. So forced us to do a lot of things right all the time, you know, and obviously they made some big plays. They hit some home runs, but so did we. You know, it's one of those nights where you just try to make more plays than the opposing team, and we got that done. It was a little bit ugly there late, but we executed when we need to, especially early on, and being able to put pressure with those front. really paid dividends.
Yeah, and I know they came back a little bit late. Maybe the score won't indicate how much you guys actually had that game, especially going into the second half. But let's talk about the offense now. You know, I mean, I covered y'all last year a few times. We talked about Trey Cross. Talk about him again, but also those new guys on the offensive line.
You know, we've been waiting on Trey to have an explosive night, and he had some big carries tonight. Had a lot of yards just on some effort and doing some good things. You know, people start figuring out that they've got to stop him, you know, so we see a lot of 9-man boxes, a lot of people trying to hone in on Trey. Well, that puts a lot of pressure on our offensive line, and so we've got a group that's still trying to learn as well. It's a young group. There is not a returning varsity player on our offensive line from our tight end all the way through. So every one of those guys, each week for them, is a learning and growing experience. We didn't handle it very well last week. We got a lot of pressure from Brownwood and just couldn't handle it, couldn't get the blocks we needed. Tonight, a lot very similar. Like I said, Andrew's packing the box in there, and our guys responded and got those blocks.
Yeah, I know number 8, that free safety, was probably at 4.5 yards for most of the first quarter. And Coach, I know you guys got Canyon next. What are you going to take away from tonight's win into next week?
Well, I tell you, we're going to have to get a lot better at covering the passing game because that's what Canyon lives on. So, you know, we're going to have to be able to really focus in on ourselves and not give up those explosive plays. You know, 5, 6, 7 yard passes, those are one of those things that may get you beat, but it's going to take a long time to do it. When you let them throw it over the top and go to the house on a 60-yard touchdown, that's not what we need to happen. So we've got to really focus in on our secondary. We've got to get better, you know, there as far as our communication and being where we need to be all the time.
Coach Purser, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, guys, an incredibly great game from Greenwood, a great response after that. After the loss from last week, Greenwood Rangers going undefeated in the last year's regular season, hopefully doing so from here on out. Ben, Aaron, back to you.
All right, thank you there for that report, Mr. Eichstätt. All right, another interesting 4A matchup. Big Spring, they won their season opener first time since 2014. Monaghan's 0-2 after a couple tough losses. Fredericksburg and Andrews. Let's take it out to Memorial Stadium. Big Spring honoring their seniors before the game. Opening kickoff. I'm not sure if this is onside or a squib, but Aaron, as I said earlier, I don't think the Lobos really care. Sean Baker recovers it. Unfortunately, nothing would come of it for Monaghan's. A cool play, though, nonetheless. First drive of the game for Big Spring. Look, Gabriel Baeza looking a little like Vince Young there. To the corner. Touchdown. Steers. Put up the hook 'em sign. 7-0 Big Spring. 5:30 to go in the first. Baeza pump fake. And oh, my goodness. Jose Cantu.
What a throw.
Woo, nice throw. Nice catch. 14-0 Big Spring on top. Early second quarter, Lubbock's going for it on 4th down, but Bond Heflin, he's just stuffed here by a bunch of steers. Monaghan's means business, or Big Spring means business, excuse me. Let's check out this final score, 28-6. The Steers dominant throughout. They improved to 2-0, first time since 2014. Well, believe it or not, even with the show, there are times where we still don't have time to get to everything we want to. If you want to maybe check out our solution, Final Score Overtime, you can find it on our website, yourbasin.com. We give some further analysis on past week of games, the next upcoming matchups, break them down. We announce our game of the week. Final Score Overtime, you can find it on yourbasin.com.
Tonight, of course, a time to reflect on something much bigger than the game. Teams across the basin taking time to remember those lost on 9/11.
Yes, and we saw many touching tributes tonight across the basin, of course, for that tragedy 19 years ago today. And as we leave you for the first time tonight, we wanted to take a quick look at how some teams and fans paid their respects.
We're going to start off with some more highlights with some 6-man football.
Oh, one of my favorites, as you know, Aaron. The Basin, no strangers to some massive matchups at that level. Of course, think about this. Of the top 10 teams statewide for Division I, Division II, 20 total, 25% of them right here in our area.
It's crazy. Each of the #1 teams included in that, Rankin and Balmorhea, Red Devils defeating the Bears in our first game of the week, actually, this season.
And the Red Devils in for another tough test tonight. A familiar one, though. Remember, they're taking on Borden County. This is a flashback to the regional final from last year when these two teams met up. Rankin, they 45 the Coyotes in the third quarter, 78-32 to advance to state semifinals. So perhaps a little motivation on the mind for the Coyotes.
Oh yeah, and this one at Coyote Stadium over in the beautiful Gale, Texas. Borden County 1-1 on the season. Rankin 2-0.
Whew, here they come.
First quarter, bad snap by Borden County. Ball is fumbled and recovered by Rankin's Justin Rodriguez, who's going to take this one all the way to the house. Red Devils get on the board early on, 7-0 Rankin following a bad snap by Borden County. Later on in the quarter, though, Deshaun Goodley taken down by some Borden County defense, so they don't get anything in the next play. And then down at the other end, another bad snap for the Coyotes. And then I was telling you about this. It rolled so far back that it would make it 3rd and 50 for Borden County. So lots of errors.
Struggled, right?
Lots of errors early on, and you would think so based on these highlights and the way they played in that first quarter. But actually, Borden County does get its revenge. They win 40-34, handing Rankin their first loss of the year.
Not too shabby. All right, let's check out Fort Davis taking on Erie County Indians coming off loss to Balmorhea. Hornets, this is just their second year in six-man since 1975, Aaron. So you'll notice something on the field. Opening possession of the game for the Hornets. Remember, six-man field's a little smaller than 11-man field, so they got to make do with what they got with those lines out there. They still got the 11-man lines, but making it work, and it didn't take long for them to make it work. Trevin Caffell to Riley Greider, and takes it to the house. Erie County up 6-0, and then 2 minutes left in the quarter. 2nd and goal for the Hornets. Greider punching it in for a second touchdown of the game. Hard to tell, though, with those lines out there. Again, that's the 10-yard line on the 11-man field. 12-0 lead. Later on, why not some more Greider? Gry hard, die hard, right? Touchdown, and the Hornets go up 20-0. Unfortunately for the Indians, as we take a look at this final score, they come up short in this one, 51-6, falling to 1-2 on the year.
Yeah, Garden City struggling to get a win early on, but they do it tonight.
All right.
52-6. The Bearcats get their first win of the year, and they improve to 1-2 on the season with a win over Hart.
Nicely done. This is a little bit of an upset. Buena Vista, 52-20 over Grand Falls Royalty. Both teams now 2-1. The Cowboys, they came in number 10 in Division II. Nice win for the Horns.
And Nueces Canyon visiting Balmorhea. Oh,
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Just kidding, I got ahead of myself. Klondike, Ben's favorite six-man team in the area.
I mean, what would you do?
Getting a 50-piece over Grady, 58-8.
What would you do? Okay. Nueces Canyon, there we go.
You
the
do
Bears. They were taking on Nueces Canyon at home, Balmorhea, number 1, Division II, and they look like in this one, 46-0 the final.
And some more scores. Leakey visiting Sanderson, Battle of the Eagles.
Yeah, we love pointing out the battles.
But Sanderson falls way short. 52-6.
Yeah, remember, this is their first game of the year. First couple games postponed. All right, Lubbock Homeschool taking on the Sands Mustangs, and look at this. Sands 46-0. Now, they beat Westbrook JV last week, but it had been 18 games since Sands had beaten a varsity opponent, and they do it here in convincing fashion. Sands 2-1 on the year.
Fort Stockton coming off that loss to Alpine last week.
Last couple. Well, I guess a win.
They won the first time, so they're finally taking on another opponent besides Alpine,
the Fighting Bucks, my goodness.
Yeah. So Panthers hosting Glen Rose, and it was a rainy Thursday night for football out at San Angelo Stadium. Fort Stockton visiting Glen Rose for possession of the game. Austin Worthen going to take it around the corner and into the end zone. So the Tigers counts first. Battle of the Big Cats, I guess, 7-0. Later on in the quarter, Tigers up 16 after a safety and touchdown. Worthen heaving it up to Reagan Rodriguez, and no one's going to catch it.
Put it in gear, baby.
Yep. untouched, well into the end zone. Glen Rose goes up 23-0. So, hot start for Glen Rose in the first quarter. All of this in the first quarter. Port Stockton trying to get something going. Dominic Aguilar taking this one on a quarterback keeper, and look at him go well into Tigers territory before he's eventually brought down. Nothing's going to happen, though. And Port Stockton ended up losing this one 40-0. So, Panthers losing 2 in a row, now 1-2 on the season.
Absolutely. Seminole taking on the Mustangs from Denver City. They fell to the Mustangs from Shallow Water last week, and still no luck for Seminole. They've lost to 2 ranked teams, and now Denver City, 50-36 the final. They fall to 0-3 on the season. 2
teams looking for their first win after starting last week. Kermit Yellow Jackets on the road visiting Pecos, and the Eagles improved to 1-1 with a 64-30 victory over the Yellow Jackets. Both of these teams had cancellations their first week because of some COVID-19 stuff.
Yes, and Eagles 5 out of 6 over the Yellow Jackets the last few years. All right, the Golden Tours trying to get back into the win column at home against SNYDER. Both teams winless coming in. SNYDER will leave victorious 48 the final. And we do have some more highlights coming up. Easily could have justified this, I think, as our game of the week. We featured the Fightin' Bucks last time out and coming away with that impressive comeback win over Fort Stockton and Sul Ross.
Yeah, and just like Fort Stockton playing someone besides Alpine, the Bucks finally played someone other than the Panthers.
About time.
They had a tough test for them tonight.
I would say so. Taking on the Wink Wildcats. Wink ranked number 5, Division II, and Class A Division II. So here we go. Wink shaking some hands before the game. Then Cannon Gibson, after shaking some hands, he's going to go into the end zone. 7-0 Wildcats. And then Jaden Canaba, he's Canna get things even down to Brady Crump.
That one was bad.
That wasn't bad. You take chances, folks. 7-7, that would lead to an Alpine touchdown. Early second quarter, Cannon Gibson, have yourself a day. To J.R. Quiros, Aaron, don't call him Junior. Down to the 30-yard line. It's J.R., folks. That would set up Cannon Gibson running the ball this time, getting on his bike here at the end of this. Check out this, getting those wheels going. Whew, there you go. High stepping. Wink able to get a nice win over the Fightin' Bucks, 38-20.
Reagan County getting their first win in a hot second last week, taking on Azona. So we will figure out how well the Owls do this week.
Yeah,
let you know.
Before we get to this game, we want to take a quick look back at how the Owls got it done against Iran last week. Our athlete of the week, Reagan County senior Jacob Gallegos, 9 of 10 passing, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. Owls won that game 62-0. Snapped a 13-game losing streak for Reagan County. Gallegos, our athlete of the week.
Really excited. It's been our first win since 2 years ago, and it just feels great. But we've got to keep on working and go for this next game against Ozona.
And here it is, the final.
There it is, Reagan County going down and getting another win. Ozona, they've been decent so far. Beat Sonora, fell to Wink, a good team, but 46-13. The Owls get it done once again.
Yeah, you know who else has been playing well, Ben? Kahoma.
Yes.
And they kept it rolling tonight with a 59-34 win over Eldorado. Bulldogs improved to 3-0 on the year.
All right, and we talked about Battle of the Eagles earlier. How about the Battle of the Buffs?
Love it.
Forsan and Stanton. Forsan, you know, they came up just short in that Howard County Bowl against Kahoma. They win 27-6 over Stanton tonight. They've now won 4 out of 5 over the Buffs the last few years.
Compass visiting McCamey and scored their first points of the season.
So there we go, Cougars.
But didn't get the win over the Badgers. McCamey improves to 2-0, 78-7.
All right, very young team there. Honestly, both of those teams. All right, Junction and Iran. Iran trying to break that lengthy losing streak. Let's see how they did. Let's go out to Brave Stadium, and here we go. The Eagles are going to get on the board first, but before that, it's Tony Barrera, 13 yards for Brave first down. By the way, as you saw before the game, honoring those first responders for 9/11. Then after a turnover on downs, this is Colton House taking it to the house, 25-yard touchdown, 6-0 Eagles. And then the Braves, they get it back, and Braden Kent, check out this bomb right here. We might see this soon, spoiler, I don't know. Creighton Kent to J.D. Solis. That ties it up 6-6 in the first quarter. One more time, though, House doing his thing. That's where he lives. It's his house. Check it out. Junction with a big win. 50-8. You know, you win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, that's the case for Iran tonight. 58, the final in favor of Junction.
Lots of exciting games here, as you can see in week 3, and we have some exciting performances as well. Coming up, we're going to head back out to Grande to hear from our Band of the Week.
And tons of great plays as well. Which one, though, Aaron, will take home the top honor? Our Play of the Week. That's coming up next.
The final score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, back here on the best show in the Basin, if we don't say so. Aaron, we talked a little bit about what a relief it has been to see these games. Not to be overlooked, though, how happy we are to see those bands out there as well. You know, I was getting a little worried. You know, if I needed to, I was ready to help out. But, you know, if they needed a helping hand. You know.
I think they can handle it.
Oh, okay.
I think our viewers can handle this as well.
If you say that, yeah, I can. Okay, that's fine.
But I do know that it's time to hear from our Band of the Week. Tonight we go back to Grande to see the Greenwood Ranger Band.
All right. Well, there, nicely done. A fantastic performance as always. Greenwood, great football program, big win tonight, and a pretty good band as well. But you know, we've got so much greatness on the show. I feel like I'm sitting next to some, if I were to say so. But we're not done with all the greatness.
Yeah, that's right. Every week we see so many crazy plays. So it's time to take a look at the best one of the night out here in West Texas. Our final score, Play of the Week. Here we go.
All right, it's Borden County. How about the Coyotes? They come up a little sloppy here. The ball fumbled, but check out not only the awareness, how quickly Justin Rodriguez for Rankin jumping on that and helping the Red Devils jump out to a big lead over Borden County. Ultimately, though, Aaron, again, Borden County coming back to win this game, but Rankin you were there. They looked pretty good to start off.
Well, and the Coyotes looked a little rough, but maybe it was just first quarter jitters, and then they had to get all this stuff out of their system.
I have those early show jitters too, so I can't blame them. But Rankin, congratulations, Justin Rodriguez, our final score, Play of the Week, pouncing on that fumble. That's commercial break coming up, but when we come back, we bring you our final thoughts from the week that was.
The final score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, week 3, it's been nice knowing you. The season, you know, it has just started, Aaron, but and it hasn't really started, we should point out, as always, for Taps and 6A. You know, we love having the helmets here. We love even more having their highlights on our show. But aside from that, we're really, for the rest of the teams, we're about a third of the way through the regular season.
Crazy. Only a few weeks left of non-district play for some of our schools. Teams getting a chance to establish their identity with a few games under their belt already. But it's now time for us to give our final thoughts from week 3.
All right, so Aaron, we saw a lot of stuff going on. Borden County, and they get the win. Oh, it looks like that's what stood out to you. After this, they fell to the Rankin. This is what you're seeing here. They fell to Rankin in the Region 2 final last year, but able to pull it out.
Yeah, so I think what shocked me, of course, and I keep picking these games that I go to because it's easier for me to grasp, but I was surprised by the way that Borden County had come back later on in the game, especially since they were off to such a rough start in the first quarter. scoreless through 1, and a lot of just some ugly turnovers for the Coyotes early on, but it seemed that they got it together, handed Rankin their first loss of the season, actually. So Morgan County and Rankin both sitting at 2-1 now.
Yeah, right. Listen, I think for what it's worth, I'd say there's going to be a lot of six-man craziness. We saw it last year at Balmarais, looking really good for most of the year. I think we're in for, hold the phone. We'll see what happens with six-man. Yeah. We did have our game of the week as well, Greenwood and Andrews. Jake Eichstedt, big win for Greenwood. He has some final thoughts from that matchup.
Ben, Aaron, welcome back to Grande Communication Stadiums. Like I said earlier, this was a great game between the Greenwood Rangers and the Andrews Mustangs. Now, for me, early it was Greenwood's defense that really made a difference. They forced a lot of turnovers. They had that pick six. Quarterback fumbled the ball on their first possession. They really got out to a lead early on. They had 14 points, and then from there, when Greenwood has a lead, they really just suffocate the other team in terms of that running game and that bend don't break style defense. Andrews, though, did not give up whatsoever. Had some very big explosive plays, and to be honest with you, could have had a couple more if there weren't a couple drops, a couple overthrows as well. These are two really good quality teams that battled it out here tonight. Greenwood, though, just really had the last chance after having that big lead like I was talking about earlier. Both these teams are going to be looking good going forward, that's for sure. A lot of young guys taking over. I know both teams have new starting quarterbacks. Future's bright for both of these programs. Ben, Aaron, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jake. And from our final thoughts here at Final Score, for those that don't know, now we can bring in Jake Eichstedt. We called him for a false start a little bit earlier on. For those that don't know, tomorrow is going to be Erin Reynolds, her lovely Erin Reynolds, her birthday tomorrow.
So
and
cute. Should I hold this up?
All I was going to say, let's show it for the class. Happy birthday, Erin Reynolds. Erin, we got you a little card. We got you a birthday cake. Oh, I mean,
I would just wait.
Up to you. But listen, we just wanted to say, we all of us appreciate it. We wanted to surprise you with a little something, but we all appreciate everything you do. It's always, just speaking for myself, it's always a blast to do these shows with you and just go out anywhere. I guess my final thought is just how awesome Erin Reynolds is. And just, I don't know. We wanted to do something special for your birthday because, again, it's not today, but it's Saturday, so it's in a matter of what? Less than an hour.
So if the viewers want to give me a present, they can watch our show tomorrow.
Yes, I would say so. But you guys are great. Special. That is going to do it for Final Score this week. We do, for those that don't know, again, if you don't know our show, Final Score Overtime, we do have it on our website, yourbasin.com.
You want to watch it.
We talk high school, we talk college, we talk NFL. Myself, Aaron, Jake Eichstedt, Jake Meyer, Jared Wilson, whole bunch of people.
Yeah, we give some frozen cold takes.
I would say
we give some bad advice.
Not quite this frozen cold, but I think they're a little bit better. But yeah, check it out. We announce our game of the week there as well. So if you ever want to figure out what it is before anyone else, check out Final Score Overtime on our website, yourbasin.com. But I still can't do it enough. We're running out of time here. Happy birthday, Aaron.
Thank
all
you.
of us here at Big 2, we all signed a card for you. And hope you have a good one. Hope your day tomorrow is almost as good as Erin Reynolds, but maybe not quite as good because it is her birthday. For Erin Reynolds, I'm Ben Peck. Thank you for watching tonight. We'll see you next week.